Welcome to the Debate Corner channel. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with future videos. The more comments received, the more videos will be made. Let's get started. While pondering thoughts, for some reason my mind started comparing red flags in relationships with red flags in politics. And it's staggering to say the least how much in common the two of them have. So today we'll be looking at a few red flags of relationships and see how uncanny the resemblance is with that of a party. A red flag that I've run into in the past was that of jealousy. Have you ever been in a relationship where the other party was jealous of your accomplishments? Or when you accomplish something, instead of congratulating you, they feel the need to one-up you as if they were in a competition? Personally, I've seen this happen more from the Democratic presidential nominee, Kamala Harris. While Donald Trump has the support of millions or actual successful policies that were in play, Harris tries to get voters to vote for her by spending millions more to make herself look more extravagant and downplays Trump's policies by helping to get them reversed while in the Biden administration. Having a secure border with Trump's policies didn't sit well with the Biden administration because it was an accomplishment of Trump. Instead of keeping it in place to keep it secure, they reversed everything. Maybe this was out of spite or jealousy because it wasn't their idea. We'll never know. As far as watching their campaign come to a screeching halt in record time, they are even trying to attract voters to vote for her by getting celebrities involved. That's well good and all, but let's put this in perspective. How many millions did she spend to get them all to assemble together just to be at her rallies? In a time where America is suffering from inflation, spending millions of dollars on nonsense is exactly the opposite of what we need in office. America is already in debt, and putting her in charge of a checkbook is clearly a bad idea. Let's take a look at her last rally in Georgia, for example. She had people attend such as Obama, Lizzo, Megan Thee Stallion, Usher, Quavo, Bruce Springsteen, and Stevie Wonder. Those are just to name a few. In all honesty, if I were playing a game of dodgeball, any of those names listed would be the last ones picked. As Shakespeare once said, all that glitters is not gold, and this would be the perfect example as such. They could also be another red flag. Have you ever been in a winning argument and the other brings their friends along to get involved? This election is between Harris and Trump. There is no need to bring in anyone else to make sad attempts to influence others to vote for anyone using their platforms to do so. This has no place in politics. If you, as a voter, vote for someone based off what a celebrity has said, then you have no right to be near a voting booth until you can think of who would be more beneficial to the United States using your own viewpoints instead of theirs. Voting based off what a celebrity has said should make you realize they are rich for a reason and you are held back for a reason. Chances are that the policies that the one they endorse will only add more to their pockets. And before you bring Elon Musk into the argument, he became rich because he pushed boundaries and reached for the stars to earn his wealth. Whereas the examples I gave of hers have mainly sold their soul to make their money. Speaking of which, makes sense why Harris responded, "You're at the wrong rally," after hearing a student say, "Jesus is Lord." Last I checked, they aren't wrong, and Harris must have been at her own rally for herself, considering the United States was and is founded on Christian values. Also, as of late, she has been jealous of the attention he receives to the point that she has even spread the rhetoric that Trump is a fascist, and he praised Hitler. This to me sounds like she is just trying to throw a few more jabs at him while she loses the upcoming election. The definition of a fascist even states that he would have to be a dictator that controlled the lives of everyone without room for disagreement. If he was fascist, then explain this. Why would he let states choose if abortion was legal or illegal? If he was a dictator, he would be the one that decided for everyone as a whole. Also, whereas Hitler killed Jews based off of racial ideology, Trump has obviously zero plans to execute any specifically targeted group of people. The only thing he plans that targets a specific group is deporting all illegal immigrants. Shouldn't come as a surprise considering the fact that whoever let them in violated federal laws to do so. So, for Harris to call him Hitler and lie about what he plans to do so she can get some kind of political gain, I leave her with this. Richard Nixon once said, "I was not lying. I said things that later on seemed to be untrue." Sounds like the past repeating itself. What about a red flag of crazy eyes? Pretty sure we've all been there before. When something is said that the other extremely disagrees with and you get the death glare followed by a bashing of words, even though you know you're not in the wrong with whatever was said. This just leads you to just agree with them instead so you can move on to another topic, but you in turn begin to feel like you are constantly walking on eggshells from that point forward. Another example of this was when Fox's own Bret Baier had a sit-down interview with Harris, asking her questions that Trump would have easily answered. Instead of giving him legitimate answers, he had to fact-check her while getting the crazy eyes, as if he was in the wrong. Democrats will obviously be the first to point out that during the interview, he interrupted her 38 times. But what they won't tell you, he had to do that in order to either straighten out the actual facts, stop her from filibustering, or to move on to the next question. He wouldn't have had to interrupt her and have a rather quick interview if she would have showed up to the interview on time that she was rather late for. One quality of a president should be punctuality of your agenda. I get that things may come up causing you to be late, but for a simple interview, it was uncalled for. Her side tries to keep her away from what would be considered bad press, but it would be good press if she could answer a question without memorizing a script or lying on the spot. Takes me back to the days that both Trump and Vance were fact-checked during the debates. I'm glad she actually showed up so she could get the same treatment. How many have you encountered gaslighting? When the other accuses you of saying things you haven't said, or basically putting words into your mouth, making you look like a bad person by twisting what may have been said and making it sound like you said something entirely wrong, distorting the truth. This could also very well be tied in with her Hitler comments mentioned earlier. Trump's exact words were, "I need the kind of generals that Hitler had." Nothing about that statement said anything about him wanting to become Hitler. Trump is doing his best to get our economy back to where it once was heading, until the Biden administration decided to take a detour that ended up with a train derailment going off a cliff and bursting into flames. Referring Trump as being the new Hitler, you might as well call any boss at any business Hitler also. Bosses expect to have exceptional employees that further their business and have the same views as them in order for their cause to be successful. If Trump had generals or people in his corner that believed in his viewpoints and his vision to help push forward his agenda instead of hindering it, it would be 4 successful years of recovery instead of him literally being forced to fight others and getting nothing done in the time allotted during his presidency. So gaslight him all you must, but the rest of us see the point he is making and realize that you aren't able to comprehend a simple statement. I swear, the left has been doing everything in their power to twist his words to the point that if he said his favorite burger from McDonald's was a Big Mac, they'd say he was trying to put Wendy's out of business just to stir the pot as usual. Something else that really gets under my skin is when the person you end up with turns out to be a fake the entire time. When you've been with someone and the first few months you've seen nothing but good in them, then their true colors show the moment they believe you'll never leave. That leads to trust issues, and then you start questioning who they really are. Who does this sound like? If you've guessed Harris, you guessed right. The moment Biden was urged to leave office, then pushed out faster than he could find his way off a stage, she showed us exactly that. At first glance, literally, considering we rarely seen her in 4 years, she appeared as if she was a breath of fresh air. I'll give her credit where credit is due. She made herself look as if she was the one they wanted and tried her best to make everyone in America believe that she was the one we all needed. But later on, after giving us all a bunch of word salads, many questioned if she would be really up for the task. In her case, though, light travels faster than the speed of sound. That is why she appeared bright before she actually spoke. Millions believe she lacks in the mental acuity department, and they aren't wrong. She was able to answer questions with ease in the beginning. But at her own town hall with Liz Cheney, Maria Shriver admitted the questions for the night were predetermined. Millions also believe that she possibly knew the questions with her debate against Trump as well, especially after the ABC moderators decided to subject themselves into the debate by going against Trump while being in her corner the entire night. Not sure if she is aware of this, but being a president, nothing is predetermined. You are put on spot daily and expected to give an outstanding performance. If any world leaders ask you a question, you can't just cackle at them and tell them about what can be, unburdened by what has been, then cackle some more when they exhibit blank looks on their faces. If Russia were to ask why they should stop attacking Ukraine, what does she plan on doing? Giving them a Venn diagram with the pros and cons of ending their war? Wasn't it Abraham Lincoln that once said, "Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt"? As we're winding down towards the election, she is removing all doubt before our very eyes. As far as this red flag of being fake is concerned, the final nail in her political coffin is all these strange accents that she also includes in her speeches when speaking to different groups of potential voters. Trump has always been and always will be something that she obviously isn't, himself, or should I say, original. With everything said, red flags are always something that you want to avoid. The red flags you spot in the beginning of either relationships or in politics are usually the reasons that you'll leave later. Where Trump was on the right path, I feel Harris is all over the place to appease everyone individually. As for Trump, he's a man of the people as a whole. She may have just started speaking on unity as of late, but he has stood for unity all along. A vote for Harris is a vote for division amongst us. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below and have a wonderful day.